Welcome to this episode of the Public Nuisance Podcast, brought to you from Killen Studios right here, where you can get all your content done. Photo shoots, podcasts set up, tailored to you. And here with us today, believe it or not, is the man behind the magic.
Producer Proctor.
I'm just going
to give up name to myself here. I was thinking this morning, how do I introduce myself? I was like, normally you hear me off camera with the random facts.
Yeah.
Anything needs thought about to look my way, and I've probably seen it on TikTok.
You've got a face now for the man behind all the magic. Behind all the magic. Because we always get like, anyone that's come in, anyone that's ever come in here has always go, fuck man, this is a class setup. This is a class wee setup, isn't it? It's a class setup. Don't really think the cameras do enough justice for what you've actually got going on here. But it's cool.
I think I get that from a lot of people, because even I have a friend that comes and records his podcast here, and I remember the first time he came in, he was like, I wouldn't have thought this was the room it was shot in.
Yeah.
I think because we have the 3 camera angles, and most of the time we use quite a tight camera angle between both people speaking.
Yeah.
And then because with you and the kind of partnership that we have going on, you have your own set that nobody else uses. So the only really dead giveaway is the paneling in the middle. That never changes. But everything else has changed around it. Even we were talking off air before about the girls group chat now becoming a partner as well, and kind of hosting their podcast here. And again with them, it was right, how do we make this set unique to you? And I'd probably say if you put your podcast beside their podcast and was is this shot in the same place, it'd be I
wouldn't even know. I know.
No, so that was my whole plan with opening this, because it's just over a year now, but I'd probably say it was about 3 years in the making, was to create a space to come tell stories. That's why it's named after Killen, and I'll get into that in a second. But to come tell stories, but also a place you felt was personal to you as well. You could come and tell as many stories as you wanted to. And as I said there, it was named after Killen, which is my mother's side of the family. So her maiden name was Killen. My grandparents, they were Killen. But my granda Paddy, who was a legend on the Lisburn Road, and I will say that, I always said the day of his funeral, it'd be a 12th of July, because he would have, in every bar up a Lisburn Road would have known him. Every Bookies would have known him. And even we used to go to Portstewart as well. This is a complete sidetrack, but we used to go to Portstewart once a year, and he would have went to the Royal Legion because they had a snooker table and get a pints and all. And when I was older, would have went there with him. But they called him Belfast Paddy because it just everybody knew him as Belfast Paddy. But he was on the Lisburn Road. He was well known of, and even the day of his funeral, we went to Ryan's bar after, and they were going to tell me that was his seat at the bar. When he came in, that was his seat. And another place we went to, which isn't there anymore, was the Windsor Snooker Club. It's now a jiu-jitsu place. But literally as soon as you walked in, everybody's head turned as soon as you walked in, because it was who's coming into our club. But as soon as seen it was him, it was immediate banter, immediate stories. It was great crack. But to come back to what I was starting the conversation with there, he was one of the best storytellers that I have ever seen. And obviously now with growing the business and going into marketing, I've heard a lot of people tell stories, and a lot of people tell you how to tell stories, but he could literally make something up like that, umpteen stories in my granny's house where he literally would have made it up on the day. One that always springs to mind is, I was up one weekend, I would have spent a lot of weekends at their house, and I had brought my WWE figures with me, so I was playing with them. But my granny that morning, I thought she'd seen a mouse. So they lived in Dundas Avenue, down kind of close to the bottom near the train tracks. And she thought she'd seen a mouse that morning. So we were on the hunt for this mouse. And out of nowhere, my granda was I used to be a world champion, in wrestling. And I was all right, granda, were you? I must have been about 5 or 6 or something.
Believe it.
Wee nipper. And he was it was me and Dick a Dormouse. We were world champions. And I was it was only years later, I was we were looking for a mouse. And he goes, Dick a Dormouse. And even as well, he used to tell us Casper lived up in the attic and all. He lived in a wee cubby hole. And he fought in the Second World War, but he was also sent away in the Second World War. So he would have told stories. I remember there was another one, he was talking about being in America on St. Patrick's Day with his brother, and they'd ran into this cop or something. And he told this big story to me in Morelli's, and my granny was sitting there, and when she was done, she was like, that didn't happen. She was like, you've never been the American St. Patrick's Day in your life. And he was just like, it's a good story.
Good story.
So anyway, that's why he was the main inspiration. Well, I think that side of the family was a big inspiration because I wanted to do something that honoured them, because my first business, like bread and butter at the minute, was Proctor Productions. So that was named after like the other side of my family. But then when I was creating this, and it just kind of fitted into the purpose and everything else. And again, like even during this process of like even having you on and the guests you brought in, like I'm texting cousins and all being like, this person's coming in, like this person's coming in, like this is unreal, they're coming in and talking about Granda and Granny, like, because even if they're just saying Killen Studios, like that's who they're talking about. Because I remember like when Shane Todd was coming in, it was like just before my 30th birthday, I was up at my auntie's house, they threw me like a birthday party, and all my cousins were coming in and being all like, right, when's Shane coming in? Like, can we come down? Can we come down? And then whenever he was just like here, and like he said about Killens and all, I was like, this is mental. Like for me, that was a real like mental moment.
That's sort of what you wanted out of it then. Obviously, like to see that and see that.
I think for me, definitely, like I even said, like even like getting mugs with their names on them, like that meant the world to me. Really. Like I even have family members now want mugs from the studio, because it's like it all means, I think it has an emotional and a personal touch to like all of that side of the family, and I think for me then it just gives me the drive to like, one, not let their name down, but two, like the more people that come and use Killens and include it in their conversation, or including my granny and granda and my mum in the conversation, which have all moved on.
We Paddy will be in his element.
We
Watching
Paddy
over going, that's what I want.
Literally, see if we would have got him on a podcast, man, world hit.
Maybe that's who Glenn was talking about, slinging about it here, you know.
Well, apparently some wee old woman down in the front room's had a hard time.
She's had a hard time. It's very dark.
She's going to get harder. Don't start paying rent here in a second, you know.
No, fuck's sake. You need to move out, get the coffee on, start doing some chores or something.
Oh, mate.
But I know it. A lot of people have a good, like, it's mad that people have such an interest in people who tell stories. Like, that's probably why everyone knew your granda and knew who he was, just because of the stories and the character, like the character he is, because of the stories. I remember in school, even whenever I was like, say 3rd, 4th year, 5th year, all the stuff I got up to on the weekends, like where all the lads messing about, I used to go into school and tell everyone about them, and people used to gather around me in school at lunchtime and like, oh, go tell us more stories and all about stuff. And, like, people used to just take an interest in me telling stories. But like I wasn't making them up, but it was just what I got up to and how I told it, and people always go like, you're a good storyteller. My dad sounds very, very similar to your granda Paddy. Like that's what he does. He makes up shit, because people like I put a video up with my son yesterday going to a park, and he says, I'll go in and get you ice cream, and I says, well, have you any money? And he says, no. I says, well, how are you going to get me ice cream then? And he says, I'll go in and smash a window and grab the ice cream cone and put ice cream inside the cone and give it to you. And he says, then you'll go to jail. And he says, I'll just hit the cops a big kick on the butt or something like that. But like, someone texted me saying he's listening to your dad too much, because that's my dad just makes up stories of the biggest lot of crap. And even like some stories that are true, he'll add a whole big like swirl on it. That's
Julie says
true.
I do the same. She's like, you'll add wee bits in just for the dramatic effect, and I'm like, well, I was seasoned. I spent about 25 years listening to a man do it, and I loved it. I was like, so of course I'm going to do the same thing.
But I think
like I say, like, yeah, he was like, I think as well, like just his character, like you couldn't. He was one of these people that you couldn't rock. Like, you know, even if it was a couple of times, like, somebody, you know, maybe in the bar, like, he was never someone that seeked out trouble, and trouble rarely found him. But, you know, in a bar, it's getting late on a Friday night, especially on the Lisburn Road when you got young ones and all coming in. And, like, there was somebody was doing something, and I remember just as quick, he was like, I'll put you on that floor like a plaster. Like, he'd almost try and make a joke out of it. Like, it wasn't the act tough, you know. And even as well, like, I remember hearing the first time he swore, like, in front of me. We were going to that Windsor club, and we walked in, and like, I didn't really know what to expect. It was my first time going in, but I also knew, like, right, be on your best behaviour. Don't, like, you know, embarrass your grand or anything. You know, because we're going to go play snooker and all, and it was a big deal to me to go in there. But as soon as he walked in, he was like, right, you old bastard, you. And I'm like, right, who's throwing hands? Like, are we going to start fighting here?
Apples up.
Yes, I was like, you know, we don't, that kind of language ends, and, you know, but that was just him. Like, everybody knew just to take him as as like, you know, lighthearted, and he just was there for the crack, and he was just having a good time.
Pinch of salt, like,
yeah, and I say like literally like there was like genuinely, and I know like my family, if they're listening to this, they'll all agree with me. Like people just thought the world of him because of his character, because he was like, he would walk into a room, and whether it was telling a story or cracking a joke or doing whatever, would light the room up. Like,
sorry to interrupt this episode, but I gotta tell you about my sponsors, That Praise Guy. Fantastic work. Another millionaire, the 9th millionaire they've produced from here in the north of Ireland. Unbelievable work. They've got plenty of prizes. Get yourself onto their Instagram, check out what's at stake, and get in the draw. Yeah, 100%. Don't really get, there's very few people now that just get, like, it was always like a thing where people just go to a bar and like, I'm going to a bar lover, like, my dad would still do it too, like, he goes to a bar when he wants to go to a bar. It's as simple as that. See, nowadays, like, it's like, if you go to a bar, they're a little punch of fucking to me about it. I'm out to a bar here. What?
I know, it's
like, an old Wednesday, like, afternoon, 2 o'clock, I'm going to go to a bar here. She would be at my you're like, fuck me, alright, relax.
No, even like yesterday, so I was in Madden yesterday recording that podcast with them. It's a new series there starting. Like, I'm sure more will be released because we have a release date and stuff set in place. But I was going downstairs after we're done the podcast, and then the band that we're getting interviewed done like a sound check. So in between that, I had a wee bit of time before I had to start working again. So I went downstairs, got a pint of Guinness. But there was some old boy in a suit. And I was like, you never really see that anymore. Like, people getting dressed up to go to the pub. Bar. But then also, like, I had a pint of Guinness in my hand, and he was like, oh, you're too young to be drinking that. And I was like, sure, it's fully iron, it's good for me. And he looks at me and he goes, well, don't be having too much. And I was like, that's literally
drank about a fucking million over the course of his life. Like,
I was just like, you don't get like that anymore. Like, nobody else spoke a word to me. Nobody else said nothing. And it was just him appeared out of nowhere and was like, just in a suit, absolutely blootered.
People go in the bars and sit in their own. People don't do it no more, but like our lads like that will go and sit in the bar room, no problem.
Sure, there was that old boy kept on appearing in Madden's.
Literally,
we were there at 10 a.m. and it's like he hadn't left the night before. Although I didn't see him yesterday, so he must go home at some point.
I must go home, get a
we kept and then back at it. But like, no, like my granddad was saying, like, Ryan's would have been his local, and like he literally would have, like, even when we were getting older and I went up and visited him. And we would have went in, would have seen my granny, would have had a bite to eat, and would have went into the parlour then, because I sat in 2 different rooms. He sat in the parlour and she sat in the living room. And would have went into the parlour and would have been like, we out for a couple of games of snooker. He'd be like, right, give me 10 minutes. And he would have went upstairs, brush his hair, put a suit on, and then came back down. And then that would have been us away up to the Windsor Club or way up to Rand's for a couple of pints or whatever. But you don't get it anymore. It's a completely different thing. Like, and I think for me personally, it'll be sad a wee bit. Like, because even like yesterday, Julie had to run my laptop up to me, and she had the kids in the car, and I was like, sure, come on, bring the kids in, because that was like my childhood. Like, my granddad would have took me into every bar, into every Bookies, and that was almost part of like my upbringing of like just seeing that. And even as well, like, I was speaking to somebody about it yesterday, and they were like, you go in, get a packet of bacon rashers and a Coke. Because that's like 100%. Part of the culture. Like, you just would have gone there when you get older, maybe a plate of chips, red sauce, and a Coke, and you were there for 2-3 hours. Yeah. But it was great.
Yeah, it was great. You loved it.
It was great. And I almost feel like, unless I do that with my kids, they'll never experience that. And there are people listening to this being like, they shouldn't experience it. But I think like, being part of our culture.
That's the way the world's going, but the world's just fucking soft now. It's just full of fucking, like, there's like nothing's right no more. Like, you shouldn't be doing that, but everyone turned out alright. Like, you're alright. You've got a good job, you've got business going on. I'm alright. I'm successful in boxing. I'm successful in what I do. It hasn't hindered my life. Yeah. And I was the same. My son now, I bring my son in to see my dad. I bring him in to the bar with me sometimes. If I want to go for a pint, he'd come with me. It's simple as that. And a lot of people go like, he should be in the bar. Like, I brought him to a bar. I brought him to a Sloan's the other day, and he came back out with 22 quid.
Oh, aye.
I was like, and 2 boxes of Pringles. I was like, happy fucking days. And like, I bring him in the town shopping, or I'm with Dervla on the weekend, and it's a nice day. I go, Mum, we'll go around the fucking bins and John Biddle doesn't make me bring them in.
Yeah.
I go, morning. And he just whip back, watches his phone or flares about.
Yeah.
Goes up, the girl brings him down and gets some Pringles and all. And like, bar staff are always brilliant with kids. A lot of bar staff are brilliant with kids when they're just like, come on, I get your Pringles, and they give you that wee bit of peace and quiet, and you're like, happy fucking days, and you're scoring
It's probably some of the best environments you'll be in. Like I know like bars and all can get like a lot of raps, but I think a bar and a pub is massively different. Like if you go to a pub, obviously, which is like what we're talking about, there's normally just good people in there, like
there's no
going for the crack, because most of the time it'll be regular punters, and if someone did come in and get rowdy, like they'd be quick to say something or be quick to chuck them out. Like my granddad was the same, and I even remember people saying to him, like, he would have brought me into McLean's Bookies in Lisburn Road, and he just would have sat me up on the bench as he was doing his horses or he was doing the football, and there would have been some people being like, he shouldn't be in here, but then most were like, leave him alone.
You're not allowed to do it no more.
You're
not allowed to have kids in at all in the Bookies no more. So if you're going to do a bet, that like you just leave. I was in Turf Lodge a couple months ago, and I was bringing a child in, and she was like, you can't bring him in. I was like, he's hardly going to do a bet. He's fucking 3. He was 3 at the time. And the girl
like
a
Rain Man or something, wizard on, just looks at the thing and he
start rating out favourites. 7-1 there. We penned all behind his ear. Don't that's not fuck's sake. Did you see the video of your man? The horse go on. Carve himself there, fuck up, be final. But and then there was a girl come up and she just left her pram outside with kidding it. She must have been running the Irish Ladder or something. Yeah. And I was like, fucking hell, like it's just changing. It probably is changing for the best, in fairness, like, but some people have obviously been affected by it who maybe fought, but I think it comes from who, like, if it's in your family, if your dad's a gambler, you're probably gonna be a gambler yourself. You know what I mean? You're gonna, like, if your dad likes beer, you're gonna. But if it's controlled drinking, it's not. Doesn't have to be like fucking. A lot of people who go and sit in the bar don't sit there. Like my dad would love a pint, but he wouldn't sit there all day, like fucking. You know what I mean? Every day he would drink. He would go to a bar a couple of days a week. Yeah. Have 5 or 6 pints, go home, make a dinner, get his dinner, and go to bed.
Making dinner on 5-6 pints?
100%. And he does. He puts on a slow cooker.
I had 2 pints of Guinness yesterday, and I was ringing Julie, being like, I don't know what's going on here. She goes, what did you had to eat today? And I said, nothing. She goes, that's why I went around and got a boozum into me, and then drove home.
Brand new, getting the R2. Just kicking around in circles. See, boozum madams.
For me, like, I if I'm in a pub or if I'm going out, I'll have a couple of pints there. But again, it's like, I think you see before you what had happened, and then you have a bit of a wild time in your teenage years. I think especially like when you grew up, or we grew up, like in the estate, it's just rife. It's happened. It's part of the culture. It's part of what you're brought up in. It's almost part of the life you have to go through. So you kind of do all that, and then you come out the other side of it. And yes, you'll have a couple of times where you have a bit too much, but most of the time it's within. Most of the time I drink, so I always have too much. I'm a bad, like, there's been the amount of times I've been carried home. One fella from where I live, like, I was coming there to Sloan's one night, black, and he said I can't remember getting home, but he said he seen me staggering up with Chinese up through Turf Lodge in my ma's house, and he says he was watching me. He was coming there to the garage facing Turf Lodge, and he was watching me and he was laughing. And he says, I was actually going to record you. He says, and you just started stumbling forward, bang, fell, hit the ground, but it was grass. Yeah. He says, I drove over, parked the car, picked you up and put you in the car and drove you home. And he says, you were covering grass. Completely covering grass. It was grass stains all my shoulders. I was like, what the fuck was my Chinese? He says she kicked it my fucking hand. So I've got myself into some states like big time. Fucking, it's just like, you never want the fun to end, do you? Like, it's like you're enjoying it, but like, I think sometimes as well, depending on where you're at, that is just like the release you need sometimes. Like if you're
every weekend,
like I think like if you're highly stressed or whatever, or like because even last night, like whenever I got home last night, obviously I had a couple of pints of Guinness. I was fine to drive home before anybody clips us, starts tagging.
Get a boozum. You had a boozum.
I had a boozum, sorted me out.
You do always get. We spoke about this before. You get the touts underneath the.
Somebody's got a comment based on I. Get him done. He was 2 Guinness on the way home. 2 Guinness in him. But like even last night, then when I walked in, Julie was like, she started making some cocktails recently, and I think with the better weather and all, she's like, do you want a whiskey sour? And I was like, aye, sure, we'll have a whiskey sour here, and sit down watching TV. And she brought it in, and I tasted it, and I was like, is there anything in that bar whiskey?
Strong.
It was all whiskey, and she was like, well, how much is like a single serving of whiskey normally?
She's giving you double.
And I said, probably about 40, 45 mil. She was like, well, there's 110 in that.
Fuck,
and I was like,
that's a whiskey straight.
It's like,
it was in a pint glass.
No room for anything else. She was like, I thought the lemon would have offset it. I was like, nothing's hiding it. Nothing's hiding it.
People do it in holiday, and there's no problem with it. Everyone brings your kid to like a wee restaurant bar or sit and drink. It's the same. It's the same atmosphere. Like if it's good vibes, it's sunny. It's you're on holiday. You don't mind. Like I went to Lanzarote a few years ago. Cheltenham was on. There was all these Irish lads in a bar drinking. Their kids were, and they were all doing meat bats and watching the Cheltenham and cheering on horses, and the kids running about. It's all good. You know what I mean? It's all good when you're on holiday. It's like if it's within mean, then you're not getting completely fucking pissed off your head. Like, and like you say, creating the bad atmosphere, and it's all good. Like if it's controlled.
Yeah, I think it's mental. Like I don't know if you've maybe seen this, but I know. So like my wife Julie, who you've met, we come from very different backgrounds in terms of being brought up. So I even remember like there were certain things just she thought was like the weirdest thing, but for me was like normal childhood. So I remember like when Zeke was just born and he was teething, I was like, stick a bit of whiskey in his dummy here. And she's like, what? And I was like, I'd be fine. He goes, I'll sort his gums out, send him to sleep. She's like, Ran, I'm not giving like and I think he was like 8 or 9 months. I'm not getting a 9-month-old whiskey. And I was like, it's fine, my granny did it to me. Sure, my mom did it to me, it's fine. It's all good. And even as well, like I remember what else was it? There's just been like other wee things, like even I think like even like getting Zeke into football and all, and like getting all that, and now even like Ella's starting to do a wee bit. You know, she going to football matches and everything. Like I remember I took Zeke to his first football match, which was like Ballyclare across the road there. I was buzzing for it because I was like, I'm reliving my childhood, but with my son. Where she was just like, I get it's a big thing for you, but I have no clue why.
Oh, I know.
But I guess now that Ella's getting up and older, like Ella's 2 now, she'll start to do things with Ella that's obviously very girl related, and I'll be like, I have no clue.
That's no clue. That's the same with you and Zeke, I suppose.
Yeah.
I got 0-0 down. We went to Westport a few years ago, me and Dervla, and then we brought the child down. She was working and I was training, so we went to the SB bar. Dervla was having a drink. I was in training, so I got a 0-0 Guinness, and I was giving him a wee sip of it. He was only like 1 or maybe like almost 2 at the time, but he was like drinking it and he wouldn't stop. He was like, I want more, and he was just drinking. And I was like, no, that's enough now and all that. But now he's like 4 and I was like, no. I mean, my dad would go, have we drink? And he goes, no. And I heard him saying the other day, sometimes he's just fucking mad and doesn't listen to me, but deep down he knows what's right and wrong, know what I mean? And he's good that way. Like, cause I caught him on we were going for dinner on Saturday, and the weather's been lovely, and he was on we were in the Tavnish, and watching the Grand National, and he's on the round with this other kid, and I was standing behind a big flower pot with like loads of trees coming out of it and stuff, and the kid was climbing up on the flower pot, and the kid goes, climb up, and he goes, no. I heard him. He goes, no, my mummy will kill me. And I picked my head in the corner. I was like, go ahead, climb up if you want. He went, can I? I went, if you want, go ahead, climb up. I'm fucking loving it. And then I says, you can do what you want, just do not go on that road. So I was watching him from afar, and he always stayed on the path and didn't go on the road. So with him, he's good, like, but it's good that they can take on board what you're saying. He's at that age now, everybody's taking on. But if I was with him, he would probably be bad.
Yeah.
Just to annoy me or something. I don't know why he does it, because when I was watching him from afar, he didn't break any rules, like, and I was buzzing, like, because it's a first in a way, like. Yeah. He's done it. I
think you definitely see what rubs off. Like, even the other day, my brother came around and we were building the trampoline for them on Saturday there, and all of a sudden Ella, who's 2, was just out of nowhere started going, oh man, she'd spelled sand or something. And I was like, that's directly coming from me. And even like Zeke, he'll be talking and then he'll end it and be like, I know, gonna go get this and all. And I'm like, where do you get that from? And then I was listening to myself saying it to him You know, because we're going to the
So
Minecraft movie,
yourself
and I think
on
that's
more,
when it clicked
and
with
then
me,
you
because I
start
was like,
saying-
you know, we're going to go in, we're going to get popcorn and drinks and all.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's exactly where he's getting it from.
Yeah,
Like,
it is. They just everything. They're listening to everything, and just whatever you say, something even like cursing. If I curse, I'm bad at cursing. He just says stuff, and I'm like, and there was like, totally, and I'm like,
but it is like it's mental. Like, I think like having kids for me was something I always wanted for different reasons, but like it completely changed the game. But I think a lot of it is not even reliving childhood stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff I wouldn't do from my childhood, but there's a lot of stuff that like I would do. And like, I think, yeah, like those things have even, like, I don't gamble anymore. Like, I think I stopped gambling maybe when I was 21. Like, that was me kind of stopped it when I kind of come out of uni. And so we wouldn't be taking them to the bookies or anything, but like, even not the whole thing of like taking them to a pub and all, like that's one thing I look forward to. Like, a couple of things I look forward to with the kids, whether it's Zeke or Ella, or whether it's both. Taking Zeke to his first United game, watching him cry, obviously, because it's be awful.
Watched him see that match yesterday.
Oh, I didn't watch it. I'm glad I didn't watch it.
Both of them were as bad as each other. Absolute, the worst 90 minutes of football I've watched in a long time. Honest to God, fucking crap.
No, I didn't watch it, but I heard it was absolutely abysmal. But taking him to his first United game, and then taking him to his first United game as like an adult, where we could go watch a game, have a pint together, like dinner and all that there stuff as well. And then taking him for his first pint and everything as well. Like, that's all stuff. It's like core moments that I can't wait for.
First pint that you know of. He'd be probably sneaking them before that.
100%. The 100 times growing up, like, it was myself or like older cousins and all. But I'm like, so your first pint? And they're like, aye.
First pint.
Good hang Instagram and Snapchat and all wasn't about back then.
Fuck, I was flat out. My first time I caught drinking, I was 13. 13, like, I was blocked Easter Sunday, absolutely full as a bingo bus, like, and like, that was only the first time I was caught, know what I mean? So I was probably drinking from. You
drank before that, were you?
Fucking definitely. And it was this fella. He was English Rob, everyone called him. He was from he was from, I don't know where he's from, but he lived in Turf Lodge anyway with his granny. And he was older. He was like 18 or 19 at the time, and he went to the offlines for us and bought us drink. And like, everyone was drinking, but my brother got wind from one of his mates that they'd seen me walking across like one of the, like, the dual carriageway with a carriage the week before, but he never let him down, so we left it a week. And then he got me in the car and says, see if I see you drinking today, because Paddy told me that he seen you walking across the Mona bypass where I carried, so I'd be keeping an eye on you.
Yeah.
I says, it wasn't me, I was carrying for someone else. And he said, it's alright. He says, just I'm letting you know, I'll be keeping an eye on you today. But I went on money and out the area, you know what I mean? So I went on the drink anyway. I got 6 big super tins of bud. Fucking black it was. And then, like, it was black by 5 o'clock, and he was flying about looking at me everywhere, trying to check in on me. And I was just trying to have him everywhere. But then anyway, I went home and I was snattered. I couldn't even walk, and he beat the fuck out of me. He battered me. And he went and found out who went in. He was asking everyone about who went in the offlines. I think someone told him it was English Rob, but there's another fella that's in Turf Lodge and he's English, and you call him Tony Bendyneck. He's a football hooligan from Millwall. He always goes Super Millwall from the time that he walks around, he walks about. He's always in the bar drinking. So RD heard English Rob went in, and he just assumed it was Tony Bendyneck because he's English and he's been living there longer than English Rob, and everyone sort of knew him. So they went down and fucking he battered Tony Bendyneck. He was innocent. He didn't go into offlines for me. So he found out that was a mistake, and then he went up and he punched English Rob as well and busted his eye open or something. And then, like, a week later, I was grounded for like a week. I got out in English Rob with a black, and he was like, "Tau." I was like, I never said football. Someone else told me. I don't know who it was. I told him, but yeah, he was running around handing out fucking headings because I got caught drinking. Then I got a heading as well, obviously. But fuck me, 13 years of age. Like, you look now and I see like kids of 13, and I go, what? Yeah. Like 13, like first year in school.
Yeah.
Second year, whatever it is. I was like, what? See, when I see kids at 13, I go,
different breed.
Insane.
A different
breed.
If I
seen a 13-year-old drinking, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
Get up, move. Even if I didn't know them, I'd be like, get that out of your hand.
Yeah, I think there was, like, because whenever I got to about 10 or 11, I remember my mum, like, slipping me the old Bacardi Breezer, you know, like, because, like, we, you know, you know what it's like in the estate. Like, you live in your wee, like, obviously you live in the big estate, but within that you got your wee community of your neighbours all around you. So like where we lived was a place called Beach Drive, and there was like a rectangle green that just had houses around it, and then the main road. So whether it was going to bingo and then people coming back from bingo and going to somebody's house and having a drink or whatever, pretty much I'd say most weekends, well, I say every weekend, I can't remember for sure, like, but most weekends there would have been a party somewhere, or you would have been going, and everybody had kids a similar age, so it was like all us kids mucked together. So at those times there, it was I maybe 10 or 11 or so, like my mum would have slipped me like the old Bacardi Breezer or something. But when it came to drinking, their whole thing, which is something I'll try and bring on with my kids, was like if you want to drink, that's fine, but let us know. Like you can drink here, you can go out and drink. If you're going to go out and drink, let us know so we know when to come pick you up or whatever else. It was like, just don't do it in secret, because I don't want to find you somewhere. Like, especially in Carrick, there was loads of boys having to get their stomach pumped. They're going up the A&E because they were in a field somewhere, they're on a street like corner somewhere, and I think they just always worry. They're like, look, we don't mind you drinking, we know you are going to drink, like, we're not stupid, just let us know. And I think even that was the case from like them almost letting us see that it was okay in the house from like a young age. But then on the flip side of that, I remember walking in one time, and my sister, I think she was like 12 or something, was having like a house party at the house, and there was like all this alcohol everywhere, and I just went in and was like, give me that. Give me all that now.
My brother, our Liam, done it. My sister, she had a bit of a party in my house. Now, none of us ever partied in my house ever. Like, we were fucking shit scared or die. All of us are, like, still. Like, he wasn't one where you had to keep a secret from him, like, because he had went nuts and he was strict on us. So we just were afraid to even say anything or do anything, or he'd tell him how I'm going drinking, or even like if I was going somewhere and wasn't drinking, I wouldn't tell him I was going there, because I knew people were drinking, like that. They'd be just. But my sister, I don't know where she got her balls from to have a bit of a party in our house. But it was like a sunny day, and she had a few people back. Our Liam went up. Now our Liam, D would have been strict on us as well. D was the one who caught me drinking. Liam would have let me drink. He wouldn't have cared. But he went up and fucked everyone out of our house. Just told our Sinead to get everyone out, and it was like we girls and me lads are, and like, out the fuck, and she was like 14 or 15 at the time. He's like, get out the fuck, took all the drink off me, kept it for himself, like. He's like, a few figs or the wee lad was like, oh, was give me a figs. Took our figs off and fell, threw them all out. We lad was like, give me a figs back here, like, out the fuck, are too young, you should be smoking or drinking. He threw them all out. It was happy days. So he took all the drink and took all the figs and all, and he kept them for himself.
Oh man. See, speaking about smoking, like just speaking about like parents and influence and all, like I've never smoked, like never wanted to smoke.
Same here.
But I think it's because one day my mum brought me and my three brothers in, and I remember this clearly, to the living room, and told us to take a drag of like her cigarette, and we all near died. And from that point, it put me off. But my other brothers who smoked on and off, like it didn't put them off. But like people probably hearing this now being like, "That's mad that your mum brought you in and told you to smoke." And I'm like, "Well, here, I did the job. I haven't smoked."
They're like 4 and all. They're like playing with figs and all. They're just smoking away, like blowing circles and all. They're like pros at it. That was you.
That was me.
We hips and all.
Honestly, I don't know what I did, but I took one in and like. Whether I held it in or whether I swallowed it, but my lung near came back up, like. But again, like I've never like smoked like a day in my life since that.
I've never smoked, never really smoked weed or not. Like all my friends growing up will smoke blow and smoke fig, smoke blow, and I never done it. I can't really remember ever being peer pressured into doing it by my mates. I think just with the boxing side of things and all, like even when I was really young, I boxed, and it was like. I was like, I don't do it. Yeah. And I just stood there like with all them and done it, every one of them, and I just didn't do it. And I don't know why, it just never appealed to me. It wasn't like I was afraid of my dad. Obviously I was afraid of my dad, afraid of Dean and all, but it just didn't appeal to me. I was like, I didn't like it, didn't like the smell of it, didn't like it. There was no reason whatsoever to do it. Yeah. Or drinking, at least you were getting a wee bit drunk, a wee bit like you were enjoying it. I didn't feel like anyone who smoked weed or smoked blow or whatever they done around me enjoyed it. Yeah. But when they drank, everyone seemed to have had a laugh and enjoyed that, so it was different. Like,
controversial take. I think smoking stopped being cool in like the 90s.
I know.
Whereas like drinking has always been a thing. Like you always probably, as you're a kid, like can't wait to get a bit of drink or something. I don't know whether it's changing now with generations, but like I know whenever I was younger, and I'd say even like, you know, say there's 10 years between me and my sister, like it was always a thing of like, you know, there was a bit of like, you know, as soon as you went out to get a drink, whether it was on like the Sneak or something or whatever, like you were always like, oh yeah, like this is this is the coolest thing I've ever done. Whereas I don't ever think there was ever that with smoking. And even now with vapes and all coming in, like I feel like smoking's dying out.
Vapes are just taking over. There's a lot of people that's never ever smoked and they're just vaping now when they drink. My missus is a prime example. She definitely doesn't smoke ever, never smoked ever. And it's just nice, just goes out with vape.
Probably because they give them all those fruity flavours.
I know, that's exactly what it is. I'm like, why? It's just habit when they're drinking. I'm like, why would you?
See now, if I see someone smoking, I'm surprised. I'm almost like, where'd that come from?
The fucking price of them.
The
My
dear,
asked me to go to a shop for not too long ago. I drove down, and it's like 17 quid for 20 figs, almost a score for 20 figs. That's a pound of fig. When we were kids, you used to get a 20 deck for $3.50.
Did you ever have did anybody in your family smoke whenever you were growing up?
My ma just.
Would you ever, when the ice cream van came around, you can go out and get a single for like 20p?
Singles. We had house shops in Turf Lodge. There's loads of house shops. People just had shops in their house. You had Brady's house shop, you had Mal's house shop. There was loads of house shops, and you just go around by loose. Shimmy McGarry. Just call him Shimmy Shady Fingers. His fingers were covered in nicotine. But he used to sell loose figs. Even when you were kids going to school, sell them loose, like 20p or 25p.
I actually done that once. That was my first business, selling figs.
Loose. That's what people used to buy at like 10 figs, going to school and sell them as loose.
Well, see, my granny and granda, Proctor, would have went to Spain at Easter, and then we all would have went in the summertime. So when she went, and like literally, like if you ever want to see a woman work out how to do a fag run effectively, it was my granny Proctor. Yeah. Like she would have had the ice cooler bags and all, and had the right ones for the right amount of people, and stacked a wee bit more where it wouldn't get checked and all. Like she come home with about 2 years worth every time. Like I remember that the closet in their spare room, like the walk-in wardrobe, was just stacked with Benson Hedges and other like wee ones as well. But she was going there, and I think I was maybe 4th year or 5th year, and I'd say, could you get me a couple of boxes? She was like, yeah, no questions asked. And then I was then selling them in school then after. Yeah, from a young age, man. I knew this was a life I was destined for.
My dad worked in a nursing home up in Knockbracken, like an old people's nursing home.
Yeah.
Full of lunatics, like, up in Knockbracken. And they smoked like 60 fags a day. But they're not allowed out. So they signed, my dad was like a maintenance man, maintained all the Knockbracken facilities. Yeah. So he had a great relationship with all the nurses and a great relationship with all the people in there. And they all knew him and they all loved him. And he used to take them out to Tesco's and all. And then he goes, Charlie, go to shop me. And he would get their fags. So I went to Kazakhstan and it was like 50p for a packet of fags. Yeah. So I brought back, because I was away training with the Irish boxing team. I brought like, we were for a month, but I had like 3 weeks of training clothes. So see, all my training clothes were all old clothes. I just threw them out and just filled the suitcase with cigarettes. And I mean like thousands of cigarettes. Yeah. And then brought them home and gave them all to my dad to sell in the nursing home, and he made a fortune. Yeah. He was selling them for like $3.50, and they were gone like that because they were just all fucking lunatics, and they're all smoking like fucking. They're all older and they're just smoking.
The thing is, like back in the day though, you probably didn't get anybody that was like a casual smoker either. Like my mum was a smoker, and I say like my granda Patty was a smoker, and like a lot of family members have smoked, but it was never like it was always like 20. Yeah. Like 20 like a couple of days or 20 a day.
They don't even sell
like
10 no more. They don't sell 10
I couldn't even tell you what, like obviously I know cigarette brands, but like now I couldn't even, because they're all locked away obviously behind when you go in the shops. But like I was another thing, like first time I went to Spain with Julie and like her family, my granda was like, get us some fags when you're out there. Yeah. So she was like, right, what do you need to do today? And I was like, all I need to do is get cigarettes from my granda. She was like, why? And I was like, because they're cheaper out here and you are back home. I know. And she was like, what? And I was like, you're allowed to bring home this many. And she just thought, she was like, I've never heard of that before.
Big time. It's like different worlds. Like if you live in any sort of a state, that was the thing to do. Like you just always bring back fags. And even if you didn't know even if like your ma or dad or someone, your granny didn't smoke, you knew someone who did smoke, you just brought them back anyway, you know what I mean?
Oh, aye.
Because they're well cheaper, like.
That was it. It was any time you heard someone going, it was almost like you were doing a wee mini fake run, like.
I know, I was away to Malaga doing that fucking High Rocks, and it was Mother's Day on the Sunday when I got home, so a week later, and I went to Dervla. I should have bought a couple of boxes of fags for my ma for Mother's Day.
Do you think it'll still be as cheap? Do you think it'll still be as cheap?
I think they were like €60 for 200 fakes, for a carton of fakes.
And how much would it be out?
Well, if you were buying for one packet, it's nearly £20. So
out here?
No, if you go to the shop and buy one packet, it's almost £20. So it's like, it would be like, for a carton of fags, if my ma was to buy, there's 10 packets in a carton of fags, so that's 200 fags. So if she was to buy 10 packets of fags, that would cost her nearly £200. So she's getting them for €61.
Mental.
Know what I mean? Fucking insane. We're being robbed.
It's mad that it still is cheap though. When you thought everybody would have caught on by now, like, you know, like we thought like the European countries would have thought, oh, we can charge more here because it's like so much over in the mainland. Isn't it?
They just tax the fuck out of it. They the government just tax fags like fuck.
Well, I think like it's wild, like, because like a lot of the camera equipment we would get would be from like Asia. Like we have a site we use which is like full legitimate. Like I've had a bad experience with them, and it was not a bad experience. Like I had a ordered something that didn't come, and I messaged them and they refunded me within 24 hours. And I was like, look, can I just order it again because I still need it? But it takes like just over a week to come. But compared to buying it here, there's about £500-600 difference in price. Like,
fuck me, it's mad, isn't it? Like just.
And you always think like, who's gonna catch on and when's it gonna stop? Like you think like in the day we live in now, you think it'd just be like a flat rate. Now I don't know much about it, but obviously everybody's up in arms about these tariffs that Big Trump's bringing in. So I don't know whether everything's gonna change then. But like, yeah, like it's still, I find it a wee bit mad that there's still places you can get stuff like a hell of a lot cheaper just because coming from
in the south. I have a load of mates who live in the south and they keep getting stuff delivered to my house because of the fucking Brexit and the Irish border hanging and all, and they want to see their stuff come to my house because I have to bring it down to Emmons when I'm filming. Fucking mad, like just everything's it's just money just being around everything now. It's fucking insane. No one's getting a break here, like.
It's mental.
Fucking way, like they get boxing gloves delivered just from the UK. It's like it's the same fucking. That's mad. Like it's just everything. Just when we were first looking at a house, my uncle was like, "Just hold off. The prices are gonna go down. The price is gonna drop." They fucking haven't dropped at all.
When was that?
That was like 2 years ago, 3 years ago. My uncle was like, "The price is gonna drop." Like they're still going up.
Yeah, like I remember
going up. Nothing's fucking dropped.
Even now, like with those mortgages taking a big hit. Like because of the whole pound crashing and everything. Yeah. Like I remember our first mortgage, the interest rate was something like 1.3% or something, and then when we renewed it, our financial advisor was like, "Look, it's 2.3% here, which is quite high." And 2 weeks later, should have shot up to 11%, and we were laughing then. Like what seemed high at the time.
That's what happened to us. That's exactly. We got a house agreed. It was 1.4. We agreed with. The house fell through, so we went to buy our house and we ended up paying 2.1.
Yeah.
But then it went right up to like 11%. Yeah. I was like, fuck me, we dodged the bullet there.
Because we had people, because this was when we were actually selling our first house before we bought the first one we lived in Ballyclare. And the people that were buying our house, like, they didn't have long left on their mortgage, but they had got it whenever the interest rates were good. And we were trying to obviously get things over the line. And they were like, look, if we have to renew here, we'll not be able to afford these interest rates. Like, nobody could afford them, though. Like, people's mortgages went up £1,000, £1,500 overnight because it went from, if they want a variable rate, it went from nothing to flipping, like, people were almost tripling the mortgage payment inside of a month. So it was like, because they were like, if we have to renew, we'll have to renew at a higher rate, and we can't. And I was like, well, nobody could. Like, if it happened to us, we couldn't do it either. I know. So thankfully, we had like agreed a fixed rate and all, and thankfully we were able to get it through. But even when we were moving house there, like just before Christmas, so like we were only in that first house about 2 years, and then we moved to another house just around the corner, which up the road a bit, and they were even saying like projected once your fixed rates, because we were able just to move our old mortgage over, port the mortgage it's called, so we were able just to do that to the new house. And they were like, look, probably when you're going to renew in like 2-3 years time, you're probably still looking at about 3.5%, which is like an extra, probably still an extra like couple of £100, like.
Fucking mad, isn't it? Like crazy.
And it's mental when you don't do nothing to your house, you have to pay more for it.
Just have to pay more for it just because the banks
want
more interest.
Mental.
Fuck, insane.
It's absolutely mental.
So much people aren't even getting an opportunity to buy a gift because of it.
No.
Fucking brutal.
It is hard. Like, 'cause I even think, like, what's it going to be like when the kids start buying houses? Because even if you look at, like, what the average house value was, like, when our parents or, like, their generation was buying houses compared to now us buying houses. Like, and another, like, Zeke's, like, 4 now, so I'd say he buys a house at, like, 25 or something. Like, that's not 21 years. What on earth, like, is it going to look like in?
Because, like, so I seen this thing the other day at one of them Instagram pages put up, and it was like, I think it was like, in 30 years from now, if it goes the way it's been going, the average salary would be like, I don't know, but like, everything was like times 10 almost. So like the average house would be like nearly like £1 million. Yeah. Like 1.2 million or something, just for like.
Because even like I had a friend over, and I took him up to the new house for the first time, and even as well, like what he had said, he'd have to pay for a similar house was like 3 times
madness, isn't it?
The price of what I pay for mine. Now, obviously, we're out in Ballyclare, so house prices are a bit lower compared to Belfast. Like, you're probably paying a good bit more in Belfast for what we have. Like, but like just I think like 3-4 times the amount on the mainland for no different, just because of where it is.
Because of where it is, and it's just probably goes down to like salary and stuff, like and what the average salary is over. Like, I know like there's definitely better job opportunities as well. Know what I always say as well? I always say as people see cities that have see the fact that England have like just professional football alone. Like, you think of the amount of employees in each club. Yeah. At every tier of football, from like League 2, League 1 maybe, right up. You're talking like, obviously, the amount of people, like let's say for example Man City, you've probably 30 plus employees who are close to millionaires, like, know what I mean? Yeah. Or millionaires. So like, plus you're talking, that's the pinnacle. Then you go like then you've like 20 clubs in Premier League, so there's 20, that's 30 times 20. Yeah. And then the Championship, all probably averaging 20 grand a week wage, and then League 1 probably 5 grand a week. You know, like,
sure, even like
that's just
Wrexham,
football.
Sure, like Wrexham, before they went into like the Championship or like that kind of the lower league, and they were playing in like, what was it, like North Blue or something or whatever it was, like the things. Like, I remember when I watched that documentary, like their first year of like wages or bills as a club in total was like 1.5 million for a club that wasn't even considered professional. I know, crazy. But that's what I'm saying. So they've got all that, like, in every city. You think of the amount of teams in each city between Premier League and League 2. Do you know what I mean? They're all averaging at like getting. That's only for playing sport. That's only one sport as well. It's not saying rugby or any other sport. Yeah. So the amount it generates as well. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? For the city alone, it just gives. Like, we fucking Linfield and Clipville on the bit, probably getting the grand max. We're a grand and a half maybe a week max. No TV, no revenue. Like, the only really TV it's on is if it's like a big game or something, or like a cup game or something. Like, so there is no regular, like, week. I can't go watch it week in, week out. Like,
I know, it's crazy. Like, so you're like, the opportunity over is probably be a bit easier to buy. Do you know what I mean? And then with businesses are getting a bigger income from the likes of them. Like, if you're a plumber and you've got a plumbing business and you fit bathrooms and a professional footballer's up in a bathroom fitted, you can near enough charge whatever you want. Do you know what I mean? So that goes around the whole, like, we're here, we don't have that. We don't have people where I take money. Like, you don't see Lamborghinis driving around here unless it's fucking Paul Harkin from Praise Guy.
Big Tom Smith.
Tom Smith. Fucking winners win. Flying about. Fucking. He doesn't sleep.
Oh, man.
Fucking.
I know, but it is true. Like, I think like there is definitely like that wealth gap, like, just because of the size of obviously the mainland and stuff. And I think even though like you have England, Wales, and Scotland, and maybe there'll be somebody in the comments here that'll go up in arms about this, but obviously as like a whole country, that's like bigger. Like, you know, you can go from England into Scotland and probably get the same kind of opportunities where, like, I even know there's a lot of people, if they work down south, are trying to get houses in Newry because there's such a big difference of a gap there in terms of, like, housing prices, because it would be a lot dearer to buy a house down south or even to rent a house down south compared to if you just go across the border to Newry and get something there.
Exactly.
Like, it's definitely, like, there's different levels to it. So, like, whenever, you know, if inflation keeps going up, or even just with the economy having to grow with the people growing or the times growing, like, you wonder what it's going to look like.
If you were on a good job in the south and you, like, say, like Dundalk, say you had a really good salary in Dundalk, because obviously the wages and stuff's a lot better in the south, and like people who, builders, like bricklayers, for example, leave, they go to Dublin to work, and if they just come home with a wage, like, they're fucking laughing because they get to spend a lot less in the north than they do in the south, but they're getting a wage from the south. Do you know what I mean? It's a win-win. Like, we've got the best. You'll have the best of both worlds. Like, we go down and collect a big wage and come back up home and spend it.
Oh, aye.
You know what I mean? That's the best way to do it.
It's not bad. Like.
Follow me for more tips.
So you get all your advice right here.
Oh, right here. Fuck Tom Smith. I'm the man behind the fuck. Oh, fuck. See, I can't even get my own fucking credit rating in order. I'm actually waiting on a phone call today from a fella to sort out my credit rating. It's been up and down for the last load of. I've one default on it. It wasn't my fault. Like, someone bought stuff on my name and never paid it back a load of years ago. Like, so I'm trying to get that default cleared.
Aye.
If I get that sorted, then my credit rating goes up. Then
I was in big trouble with Julie, but I think it was last year, because I got a default on her credit rating. It was mad. Like, I remember too as well. Like, I was up in Portrush or something and went to one of those car parks, and when I was doing the parking thing, I stuck the reg in wrong.
Oh, fuck.
So, like, I was paying for parking, but it wasn't for my car.
Wasn't your car?
I think I put like a 0 instead of an O or something in the reg, like, by mistake. And anyway, got a ticket. But I was like, sure, it's not one of them ones you have to pay. It was one of those ones you have to pay.
Fuck.
So for, like, must have been a good, I'd say 2 years, that wasn't getting paid and just racking up. But for some reason, whether it was like the car was in Julie's name or something like that there, it was going to her credit score and not mine. So, like, we went somewhere, I think it was even to get the phone renewed or something, and she didn't get accepted.
No way.
And they were like, no, your credit's getting bad. She was like, why? She was like, what do you mean? Like, she had no clue. I had no clue either. And then it was going through, like, one of those agencies. It was like, I've a car parking ticket for about 2 years. And she was like, then she started tracing things back, and obviously we, like, live out of the calendar.
Like
and she came in like a beaten bear, and she was like, you're the reason. And I was like, what? She goes, remember that thing you said you didn't have to pay? Well, you haven't been paying it for 2 years, and it's now come off my credit rating. So I was like, oh, flip. So then, like, we got it paid or whatever, but and then I think, like, the default come off and the credit score's sweet now. But like,
hopefully
Julie's really not pernickety, but, like, takes a bit of pride in her credit score. So for me, we're her doing nothing, and for me to completely mess it up, man, I was in the doghouse for a while for that one.
I know, it's sort of fucking, it's hindered us, like, in a way, like, a big time actually, because we had to get a mortgage based on just Dervla's wage, and she the mortgage on her name, you know what I mean? And I just had to pay a bigger deposit for a house that we wanted, like, so I had to pay a big fucking massive deposit. But she's talking about upsizing now, and maybe, I don't know what she wants to do, but it's time to get the finger out. I'm a nightmare for shit like this. See anything, I just delete, because I don't want to know that's not going to, no. Do you know what I do? Like, say if I have a feeling that something's not going to go my way, I don't want to try and fix it. Because it's not, see, as soon as I hear the news, I took my wedding ring off the train last week, right? And I don't know where it is.
Yeah.
Right? So I've told her, I don't know where my wedding ring is. I've put it in that bag. But I left my shoes up in Holy Trinity Boxing Club, where I was training, and I was going, I've checked the bag, it's not in there. I've checked my shorts, it's not in there. I've checked down the back of the car, it's not there. I'm going, like, and I was like, that was 2 weeks ago. You still haven't even, like, you don't care enough. Like, you don't understand. You're never getting that ring. That's your wedding ring.
Yeah,
Even if you buy another ring, it doesn't have the same value as that wedding ring to you, because that was the day. You get married with that. That's your wedding ring. You don't care enough.
Yeah.
I actually do care enough. I just don't want the fucking news to be, nah, it's not here.
Yeah.
I don't want to contact Michael Hawkins and say, is my ring there? She's like, do it now. He's like, no, because then I know I've lost it.
Yeah.
I'm holding on to whatever. I want to hold on to hope.
There's a wee bit of hope there.
But I don't want to hear the hard truth that, nah, it's not here.
Yeah.
So I text him saying, is my ASICs, is my trainers there? He says, yep. And he sent me a photo of the ASICs. And I went, is my ring inside it? And he went like that. And he sent me a photo of it on. And I went, oh, I told you it's her. I fucking told you it's her. I knew it. I haven't up and been busy.
Yeah.
I was like, I think, oh, be the God.
Oh, man. Like, I lost mine ages ago. I had no word. Like, Zeke went through a phase where he would have come into our room, because I always would have taken mine off at night time because it just would have annoyed me. Like I say, I can't sleep with a watch or nothing on or anything. Can't even sleep with socks on because that annoys me. Oh, it's mental. And so I was like, oh, Zeke must have come in and got it, and like he took it somewhere, because even recently, like he's been taking Julie's rings and saying they're Sonic rings because he's been watching Sonic. So it's just like it's what kids do. But I was like, it'll turn up in the house move. Didn't turn up in the house move. But then I can't. I kind of got away with it because Julie lost her engagement ring in the back garden, and it didn't turn up in the house move either. So
that's not good.
We're 1 for 1, so it can't really be.
Oh, it can't be tit for tat. Like, it just has to be right. We'll
draw a line on this. We both
don't mess it again.
We both didn't do well here. We'll agree to disagree.
We'll leave it at that. No more.
That's
it. Because fellas are a bit more careless about stuff, but not intentionally. Do you know what I mean? It's just who we are.
Yeah.
Different fucking.
Oh, I agree. Like there's loads of stuff. Julie's just like, will you just do that? And I'm like, I will. And then I'll forget about it.
Oh, fuck, I'm the same.
I'll forget about it.
She goes, here, lift them, bring up the stairs, and I just walk by them. And it's not because I don't want to lift them. I don't even, it's not because I don't want to lift them, bring up the stairs, when you walk around anyway. I just forget.
Yeah.
And the reason why I forget is because it's not that big a deal to me. It's like a wee toy sitting on the stairs. It's not that big a deal to me.
Yeah.
And then she goes, did you not lift that? And I go, I forgot. She goes, you forgot. I literally told you as you walk up the stairs. Yeah. And you forgot. It's just, I don't know.
Bins are my kryptonite. It's always like, here, you stick up in if you come to bed. And then I'm like, I'll wake up early in the morning, do it.
And then you're down in bed going,
literally, I'm hearing the rain hit the window, and I'm like,
you're hearing the fuck.
I'll go to the dump or something during the week.
You're hearing the fucking Ben Lorry come out straight, and you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'll knock it down in time anyway.
Nah.
Just do it. No, I'll knock it down in time.
Nah, man, like
Tony Soprano with your house coat and all, her sticking up, dragging the bins out.
Here's when I had the mullet flipping. There was the other week. It was like one of the rare occasions I had like a lion, and the Tyler came at like 7:30, and he rang the doorbell, and I'm going down. Mullet's still up in the bedroom as I'm down the stairs. Literally, it was dragging back.
It's right down the stairs,
dragging me back up, and I had to open the curtains, and he was like, "Did I wake you?" And I was like, "Nah." Nah, mate, I was up. It's like I could barely see. Hers all over the place.
All night.
But yeah, man, it was like, like the bins, man, I'm awful for that. Like, I hold my hands up and say millions of times it's been the case of like our bins when overflowing because I just didn't put it out. Because I was like, I'll do it before I go to bed. And then I don't.
Have to stay on top of it. What days your bins with?
Couldn't even tell you.
Mine's a Thursday, so.
We go off our neighbour.
Ours are Friday, so we bring ours out on a Thursday, but we're both sweet.
When Davey puts his out, I know when that's the one it goes out.
I always get the wrong colours. What colours is it today? Blue, red. I pull a blue bin out, and then look out the window about an hour later, and they're all black bins, and I'll do it again.
See, our black and brown get done the same day, so it's not too bad.
But like, I always just get the weeks mixed up. It's a nightmare.
No, see, I literally like when Davey goes on holiday, I'll be snookered. Well, I suppose I can wait, but people aren't as quick as what he is. Like he's on it, so you know, right? That's the one I have to do when I eventually get to it or never get to it.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, I think, go off.
I would say near enough anyone who has a gaff probably have the same problems. I'd say like people probably like watch us and go, "Fuck, that's what we do." Yeah. I'd say it's a common thing.
They use us in excuse, but say, "Hey, dude,
totally
get off my back about it then."
No, fucking. But their birds are on their back. Leave us alone. Just leave us alone.
It's like it's one of those things. Like you want to just leave it out the front of the house, but then it's an eyesore to the front of the house.
Permanently. Just get a padlock or fucking tat around the handle of it. And
I just stick mine round the side. Like I used to bring it round the side of the house, through the gate and round the back, But no, I just stick it at the side of the house.
Ours at the side of the house too.
Because I convinced myself that's going to make it easier to bring it out. But
Still
you
isn't.
can watch this back in about a year's time and I still haven't brought it out.
Rubbish, just paying up like fuck.
Mental.
Right.
Mental.
Well, we'll call it a day here, Ian.
Yeah, man.
Thank
That's
you
good.
for stepping in, man. You are the man behind the fucking magic.
Man behind it. Well, it's good. Good to get
Happy
out, man.
days.
Thanks for
for
having me
coming
on.
lad. Magic.